March 2023. Florence Debar, an evolutionary biologist, was browsing a scientific database late at night. Out of curiosity, she searched for genetic data from the Huanan seafood market in Wuhan, the suspected epicenter of COVID-19. For years, the world believed no useful genetic clues existed from the market. Suddenly, new files appeared, raw, unanalyzed, and full of potential. Debar realized she'd stumbled onto something huge: genetic sequences from swabs taken at the market in early 2020. This was the data scientists had been seeking for years. She immediately alerted a global team of researchers. The team, spread across continents, began frantically downloading the files before they could disappear. Each file was a piece of the puzzle, mapping the virus's earliest known environment. For the first time, they glimpsed a genetic snapshot of the pandemic's birthplace. The scientists felt both excitement and dread. Why had this data been hidden for 3 years? The files offered a direct link to the chaotic first days of the outbreak. They could confirm or challenge everything the world had been told. That night, Debar and her colleagues weren't just doing science. They were uncovering a truth that could affect everyone. The race to solve COVID-19's origin had a new lead. From the start, the world has debated one question: where did SARS-CoV-2 come from? Two main theories emerged: natural spillover from animals, or a lab leak. Natural spillover happens when a virus jumps from animal to human, as with SARS and Ebola. The Huanan market, crowded with live wild animals, seemed a likely spot for such an event. The lab leak theory points to Wuhan's Institute of Virology, suggesting a possible accident. No definitive proof has surfaced for either theory. Supporters of natural spillover cite history. Most new human viruses come from animals. Lab leak proponents note the missing intermediate host, the animal that passed the virus to humans. The lack of transparency from Chinese authorities fueled suspicion. Without clear evidence, the debate became polarized and political. The world was left with uncertainty and mistrust. The new data Debar found could finally tip the scales. The search for the truth was more urgent than ever. Late 2019, Wuhan doctors saw a mysterious pneumonia. Many patients had visited the Huanan seafood market. The market was crowded, unsanitary, and sold live wild animals. On January 1, 2020, authorities shut it down. Teams in protective gear collected hundreds of environmental swabs from stalls, drains, and cages. These samples were a biological time capsule from the pandemic's ground zero. If a swab contained both the virus and animal DNA, it could reveal the virus's origin. For years, the world waited for answers. Chinese scientists published a paper. The virus was found in many samples, but no animal hosts were identified. The official story: the market amplified the virus, but wasn't the source. This seemed to close the door on the market as the origin point, but the mystery remained. No clear animal link, no resolution. The world needed more evidence. The hidden data Debar found would soon challenge the official narrative. The search for the pandemic's origin was far from over. The next clue was buried in the vanished files. The files Debar found were raw data from those market swabs, uploaded to GIZ, a global virus database. A loophole let her see and download the files before they vanished. Hours after the team finished, the data was deleted, gone without a trace. Someone clearly didn't want this information public. The deletion raised red flags. If the data supported the official story, why hide it? The scientists now held a precious secret. They began analyzing the jumble of genetic code. Virus, bacteria, fungi, animal, and human DNA. They searched for overlaps, for a connection missed or ignored. The story of the disappearing data spread quickly among scientists. The struggle for transparency was now front and center. The team knew they had a responsibility to share what they found. As the team analyzed the data, a striking pattern emerged. In several virus-positive samples, they found abundant raccoon dog DNA. Raccoon dogs, wild canids susceptible to coronaviruses, were sold illegally at the market. A stall selling live wild animals was contaminated with both the virus and raccoon dog DNA. This wasn't definitive proof, but it was the strongest evidence yet of a possible intermediate host. The data challenged earlier claims that no animal hosts were found. It provided a plausible pathway for natural spillover, a raccoon dog infected in the market, passing the virus to humans. The evidence pointed away from a lab and back to the chaotic market. The scientists quickly shared their findings with the World Health Organization. Their work suggested the market was likely where the virus first jumped to people. The raccoon dog became the prime suspect in COVID-19's origin story. The hidden data had revealed its most important secret. The world was one step closer to the truth. When the team's findings went public, Chinese scientists quickly published their own study, downplaying the animal connection. They argued animal DNA didn't prove infection, just presence. The official story remained. The market was a super spreader site, not the source. This response fit a pattern of secrecy and limited access since the pandemic began. The wall of silence made it impossible to prove or disprove either theory. But knowing the true origin isn't about blame, it's about preventing the next pandemic. If the virus came from a wildlife market, urgent action is needed: regulate animal trade, monitor new viruses, and improve market conditions. Florence DeBar's accidental discovery was a triumph for open science. Even in the face of secrecy, dedicated scientists can uncover the truth. The path forward demands transparency, cooperation, and a shared commitment to answers. The clues are out there. By working together, we can learn from the past and build a safer future. The search for COVID-19's origin continues for all of us.